March 2026. A U.S. Navy submarine surfaces near Al-Mishbah Strait, one of the rarest maneuvers a commander can order in the Persian Gulf. Iran claims it challenged the vessel and forced that moment. The Pentagon flatly denies it. One-time stamped video is all the public has. Both accounts cannot be true, and what happened next set off a chain neither side fully controlled. Inside a U.S. Navy submarine operating near the Al-Mishbah Strait, every decision is shaped by the physics of underwater sound. The crew depends on passive sonar to track contacts, listening for noise rather than sending out signals that could give away their position. In the Persian Gulf, this method faces a unique challenge. A sharp thermocline, or temperature layer, runs between 70 and 150 meters deep. That band bends sound waves, causing bearings to drift and making it difficult to judge distance or even confirm the identity of a target. On this patrol, the sonar chief monitors a towed array, calling out bearings as contacts appear and fade. The fire control technician, working alongside, inputs each update into the targeting computer, trying to build a picture from incomplete data. But as the Iranian patrol vessel moves through the thermocline, the bearings swing unpredictably. Navy acoustic manuals warn that under these conditions, bearing accuracy can degrade by as much as 30%. The risk is a misidentified ship, or worse, a collision in crowded waters. Standard protocol divides responsibilities with precision. The sonar chief focuses on acoustic signatures and bearing-only tracking, while the fire control technician manages the logic of target motion analysis, calculating possible courses and speeds, but never with full certainty. When the bearing variance exceeds 15 degrees for more than 30 seconds, the command ladder calls for escalation. If range cannot be confirmed, the safest option is to ascend to periscope depth for a visual check. The commanding officer weighs these constraints. With passive sensors, unreliable, and no way to verify the Iranian vessel's intent or course, the risk of staying hidden outweighs the risk of being seen. The order is given, prepare to surface. The crew moves quickly, each role practiced and clear, aware that in these waters, every second matters. The submarine rises, breaking the surface near the strait, and the next phase of the encounter begins. Iran's official statement arrived within hours of the surfacing. Naval Command in Tehran announced that their patrol vessel had detected a foreign submarine inside what they defined as Iranian-controlled waters, and that their crew issued a direct order for it to surface or face consequences. According to Iran's communique, the United States submarine complied, rising to the surface in full view of Iranian ships in the nearby Al-Mishbah lighthouse at 27.603 degrees north, 52.512 degrees east. The message described this as a clear demonstration of Iranian authority in the strait, with state media quickly labeling the event a strategic victory. The United States responded through a Department of Defense spokesperson, rejecting Iran's account in strong terms. The Pentagon described the Iranian version as unfounded, insisting that the submarine was operating in accordance with international law and was never forced to surface by any foreign power. No details were provided about the submarine's exact location or mission, but the United States denied any violation of Iranian waters and dismissed the claim of coercion as misinformation. A single video clip, circulating on both state media and open-source platforms, became the centerpiece of the dispute. The footage, timestamped 0820 Coordinated Universal Time, shows a submarine's conning tower breaking the surface near a distinctive lighthouse, landmarks that allowed independent analysts to geolocate the scene to the narrowest part of the Al-Mishbah Strait. The video captures Iranian patrol boats at a distance and the submarine displaying a United States flag, but it does not include audio of any direct threats or show the full sequence of radio exchanges. Both sides pointed to the same evidence to support their narrative. Iranian officials argued the visual record proved their command of the situation, while United States defense sources maintained that the surfacing was a routine safety measure, not a response to Iranian demands. No additional footage or sensor data has been released by either government. The clip stands as the only public visual confirmation of the event, leaving the true sequence of decisions and intentions open to debate. The evidence remains limited. What is clear is that the official stories are mutually exclusive, each shaped by institutional priorities and national messaging. With only partial evidence available, the incident remains a case study in how modern military encounters are contested not just on the water, but in the arena of public information. At 8:30 UTC, Iran filed a formal diplomatic protest with the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. The document cited the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea and accused the United States of violating Iranian territorial waters. The language was direct, demanding an immediate halt to what Tehran called hostile incursions. Within minutes, the protest had been circulated to major state media outlets, amplifying the message both at home and abroad. The U.S. response came just 30 minutes later. At 9 o'clock UTC, a Department of Defense spokesperson stood at the Pentagon podium and delivered a carefully worded statement. The briefing denied any violation of Iranian waters, describing the submarine's patrol as a routine operation conducted in accordance with international law. No apology was offered, and the spokesperson avoided confirming the submarine's exact location or the details of its mission. The statement emphasized that all U.S. naval movements in the region were transparent to allies and consistent with established protocols. Behind these official exchanges, operational decisions continued at sea. According to internal U.S. briefings, the submarine began its exit from the Al-Mishbah Strait shortly after surfacing, moving eastward at an estimated 12 knots. This speed is reported in defense circles, but remains unverified by independent tracking sources. Because surface submarines typically disable their AIS transmitters for security reasons, no public satellite imagery or commercial vessel data confirms the precise path, leaving the details of the egress open to interpretation. Meanwhile, Iranian Naval Command ordered a surge in patrol activity near the strait. Fast attack craft and coastal radar stations increased their presence, signaling a heightened alert status. Iranian state media reported these movements as evidence of continued vigilance, framing the incident as a demonstration of national resolve. On the U.S. side, the Pentagon maintained its stance, repeating that all actions were consistent with international norms and that communication channels with Iran remained open. Both governments moved quickly to formalize their narrative, each shaping the emerging story through official documents, public statements, and visible force posture. Iran's approach to maritime security is shaped by a dual structure, the regular Navy known as IRIN, and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy, IRGCN. Each force operates with its own doctrine and priorities. The IRIN fields larger ships and focuses on traditional naval operations, while the IRGCN specializes in swarm tactics, fast attack boats, and asymmetric strategies designed for the narrow waters of the Persian Gulf. This parallel system gives Tehran flexibility. One branch can escalate or de-escalate, while the other maintains plausible deniability. Western intelligence bulletins, circulated in early March 2026, flagged a surge in official Iranian rhetoric, warning of retaliation against U.S. assets, and highlighted the risk of confusion between the two Iranian commands. The aftermath of the submarine incident quickly became a contest of narrative as much as naval power. Iranian officials insisted that their forces had lawfully exercised control over their claimed waters, citing the right to use force if challenged. U.S. analysts, meanwhile, noted the absence of a formal message from Tehran directly threatening military action, despite public warnings broadcast on state media. This gap between rhetoric and documented communication became a focal point in diplomatic circles, especially as the United Nations convened an emergency session to debate the legality of recent maritime actions. Iranian delegates argued that defending choke points like the Al-Mishbah Strait is essential to national sovereignty, while U.S. representatives maintained that freedom of navigation is protected under international law and that no unlawful incursion occurred. For analysts in the intelligence community, the incident revealed how quickly a local encounter can ripple outward, testing the boundaries of lawful force and the credibility of official statements. The lack of independent confirmation for key details, such as the exact location of the submarine or the content of radio exchanges, left both sides relying on selective evidence and strategic messaging. In the information age, control over narrative can be as important as control over territory. The competing accounts from Tehran and Washington, amplified by state media and diplomatic protests, turned a brief confrontation at sea into a test of deterrence, signaling in the management of escalation risk on a global stage. Today, the waters of the Gulf remain tense, where a single disputed encounter can shape alliances and risk escalation. As official accounts diverge and facts stay contested, the uncertainty itself becomes a weapon. In moments like these, clarity isn't just power, it's the difference between restraint and disaster.